You say a political strategy to corner Tony Abbott. There was also another other political thinking behind it, and I think Tony Windsor articulated that. Here's Tony Windsor.
I think the Treasurer has put himself in a difficult position with this legislation because he's argued, and the opposition have trapped him in a sense in the politics of surplus and deficit budgeting. He's trapped in this scenario that, on his own admission now, that unless he's in surplus, he will be judged as a poor economic manager.
And that's true too, isn't it? I mean, what's a couple of billion either way, except it has that political impact?
Yes, and they have been, they're very strong on that, on certainly the Treasuries and Julie Gillard on the we will be back in surplus by 2012, 2013. But Laura's right, I mean 1.8 billion is really not much at all, so if they go down on this, it's going to hurt their credibility more than their financial bottom line. That's the...
Yeah, but the boom continues.
She can't afford to lose on this one. She can't afford. I mean, she hasn't actually landed an issue yet. The mining tax was announced almost a year ago and it still hasn't been nailed down. They're still working on that.
What about the health breakthrough? Would you say that's landing one?
No, because it hasn't been completed yet. The states have signed up, I wouldn't say to an agreement, but to look at things that they might do in exchange for the money.
And I think that's...
And from what I hear from the states, you know, they don't think that they're going to be able to accede to what she wants. So she's got another ongoing problem there. Nothing has actually been fixed.
And I think this goes to the surplus point. I think the government has no choice but to really nail a very big surplus spending-cutting budget this year. There's always been a reason to not do it. And just like the whole delivery thing, they have to show and finish off the argument about economic credibility and fiscal conservatives and all that stuff. They can't keep running this for another term. It's just they've just got to absolutely nail it once and for all.
And you wouldn't think by 2012-13 this 1.8 billion is going to be the difference between a surplus and a deficit anyway, would you? And given the boom, do you think there'll be more money around than what we're led to believe at the moment?
There may well be, but certainly the government is looking at very big spending cuts. Whether they've actually got the courage to go through with the stuff that is now being brought forward, particularly in welfare, is the big question. And if they squib it, basically, I think that'll be the end of them.
With welfare, would it be on eligibility, like raising the standards for eligibility for some of these welfare benefits? I
think there'll be eligibility issues. I don't think they'll wipe anything out because Wayne Swan, of course, is so locked into his this isn't middle-class welfare arguments, but I think they're going to have to hit eligibility. They're going to have to, because of the skills crisis, look like they're doing absolutely everything to get every able-bodied man and woman into the workforce. So I think there'll be a lot of trade-offs there and probably a lot of rechanneling of the skills spend as well.
Well, how does that work if they're going to be targeting welfare and eligibility on the one hand in terms of cuts, but on the other hand, when they're funding the compensation package for the carbon tax, they're talking about adjusting the welfare payments so that some of those, the compensation will come through welfare. So it seems to be a contradiction there.
Well, yeah, and at the very same time, the people we were talking about before on Talkback Radio will be reminding people about cost of living pressures and the fact that the prices of so many things are going up.
Yep, including possibly interest rates later on. So, you know, that's another huge problem for them. And petrol price increases from what's going on in the Middle East. So, you know, all these kind of pressures are building up.